Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on the Eureka Crystal Beads Midwinter Challenge pieces. So I want to show you the pieces first. So I did this really pretty pendant using that 13 by 18 millimeter octagon fancy stone. And I made this wrap bracelet. Isn't that pretty? And this wrap bracelet is made with 2 bead herringbone. Goes from a wrap to the chain for this pendant. So you have both there. So the chain will go on the pendant or around your wrist or both. And then, let me pop this guy over here. It's like a bunch of snakes. And then I made this bracelet with the remaining beads. So I really used everything that was in all the beads. I mean, I have some left of a few of them, but I used pretty much everything between all the pieces. So this is a really pretty bracelet. The thing I added to this were these 12 millimeter rivolis. Now, I put that in the description box below the video if you want to get those. This video will not go up until next week sometime. And if you don't want to get all rivolis, get a couple, and all 6 of them, get a couple and make a pair of earrings, or get one and make a pendant. But this was really fun and really easy to make. So I love this. I think they both came out really great. So I just wanted to give you a quick look at what the pendant looks like on. So here I put it on my little friend. And this is what it looks like. It's so pretty. It really is. The blue is so gorgeous, and it just pops. It's such a gorgeous blue. All right, so there you go. All right, so I'm going to clear this off. We'll get a materials list going, and we'll get started making. We're going to start today with, as I said, the pendant, and we'll do the pendant and the chain so that you have both of these done. And then the next video next week will be this bracelet. All right, so don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy my channel, and ring the bell so you get notified when I upload a video. All right, let's get started. Okay, just a quick reminder before we start. Remember, this is a challenge video and there will be a winner. So stay with me to the end of the video. So if I win, I'm going to give you my prize, which is a $25 gift certificate to Eureka Crystal Beads. So stay tuned to the end of the video for instructions on what to do so that you can kind of be part of that giveaway. All right, so let's get a materials list going. Okay, let's get a materials list going. So the 13 by 18 millimeter octagon fancy stone from the challenge beads, the Toho treasures, the Toho Charlottes, the 2 beads I added, the additional beads, an 11/0 seed bead and a 15/0 seed bead in a metallic, the 3 by 2 millimeter rondelle from the challenge beads, the 3 millimeter fire polish from the challenge beads, the teacup beads from the challenge beads, the clasp from the challenge beads, which I used both of them. You'll be using this clasp if you have the beads. I just pulled one from my stash that was similar. Size 10 beading needle, 8-pound Fireline black satin. I think I have a stop bead hanging around. There you go, and a little stop bead. All right, so gather up your materials and let's get started. Okay, let's get started. So thread your needle with about 40 inches of thread, put on a stop bead, and leave a 10 to 12 inch tail. We'll use that tail later. So I've picked up, and I'm going to drop down to my stop bead, 2 11/0s, a 15/0, and 1 11/0. And I used a contrasting color here just for video purposes. So I'm going to drop those down. This is what I have. See if I can clear that up. There we go. I'm going to sew through the first bead after my stop bead. I'm going to make that into a unit. Just like that. Now you can sew around your unit just to secure it a little bit. So I'm just sewing through all the beads until I come out of that bottom 11/0, and I'll show you in a second. So just going around, passing the tail thread and the stop bead. And I'm exiting that bottom bead of my little right angle weave unit, and this 15/0 will always be at the top. This is the back of the bezel. We're going to go around, and you want that 15/0 always at the top there, and these 3 11/0s on the bottom. All right, so get that done and we'll continue. Okay, moving on. Pick up 1 rondelle, 2 11/0s, and a 15/0. Exiting right here, we're going to sew through this bead. Notice the direction of my needle, like that, to put on another unit. You want to pull that thread over a little bit. It's a little bit clumsy at first, so just pull it over and skip that rondelle. Don't go through the rondelle, skip the rondelle, and sew through the next bead, which is that 11/0. And then when I pull this is what I have. So you notice I have my 15/0s at the top. I have 2 units now, right here with a rondelle in between. Pick up a rondelle, 2 11/0s, and a 15/0. Exiting right here, sew through this one, pulling in this direction a little bit. Let me straighten this out. There we go. Just pull in this direction a little bit. You're going to skip the rondelle and sew through the 11/0 right after the rondelle and pull. And you want to give it a nice pull inward so you don't have much thread showing. So you see there? Now we have, let me just give that a pull. All right. Now you have 2 rondelles on, and you're working on these little right angle weave units in between. So notice how my 3 15/0s are at the top. Okay, this is exactly what you want. So you're going to continue that all the way down. Should we do it one more time? Rondelle, 2 11/0s and a 15/0. Exiting this 11/0, just sew through this one. That drop down and kind of push it into a unit. It will go there when we pull afterwards. So just like that, and just skipping the rondelle and sewing through the 11/0 right after the rondelle. At this point, you're pulling it inward so that it starts to curve, just like that. So this is what you're going to do all the way down until you have, just count the rondelles, till you have 14 of your rondelles at the bottom. Make sure all the 15/0s are at the top, and then we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So this is what I have. Now I'm going to put this thread aside. So this is the thread we're working with right now. I'm just going to put it aside, keep that needle, thread on the needle, because we'll get back to it. I'm going to take my stop bead off and thread a needle with the tail thread. So exiting right here, what I want to do is move this thread right here. So I'm just going to go down this one. So I'm going from this one to this one. And now I want to connect the circle. So in order to do that, I have to have a unit here. So I want to go from this one to this one, put a bead here and here. So my first bead I'm going to put on is going to be that little 15/0 to keep in pattern. So picking up a 15/0, I'm going to sew through here. Like that. And then I'm going to pick up an 11/0, and I'm going to go back down through my original bead I was exiting. Like that. Do you see how now I have added my final little right angle weave unit? Now I'm going to sew around the beads I just put on. So through the 15/0, through that 11/0, through the 11/0 here, on the top or outside, down this one again, and then I'm just going to go over this way. Just going to sew through this first 15/0. At the bottom there. Now that unit is connected. Okay, now we're going to go back to the other needle and we need to finish the crystals here. Put a crystal here and here. So I'm picking up a rondelle. I'm going to sew through that next bead to place a rondelle between those 2 11/0s. Just like that. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to sew through the 11/0 and then up through the next rondelle. Okay. Now I have all my crystals on. So get that done and come back and we'll continue. Okay, let's continue. So we're continuing with the thread that is exiting the rondelle. We're going to pick up 7 15-ohs. Exiting here, I'm going to skip the next rondelle and sew through the following one. Like that. I'm going to pick up 7 15-ohs. I'm exiting this rondelle. I'm going to skip this one and sew through the next one. That's what you're going to do all the way around. Picking up 7, skip 1, sew through the next one, etc. So you get down to the end here, and then we'll continue. Okay, coming down to my last group of 7. So exiting here, skipping this one, and I'm going to sew through the next one, plus the first 4 beads of that first group of 7 that I put on. So I'm trying to get through all 4, or just do, one at a time. So through this one, up the first 4. Just like that. Okay, this is what we have so far. Now I'm going to put that thread aside and I'm going to go back to my other thread, the one that is coming out of those little 15-ohs on the back. And I know I'm switching back and forth, but there's a method to my madness. I just want you to get through the bezel as easily as possible, and this seems to work, and it works in this sequence. So now I'm going to pick up, grab some 15-ohs, a 15-oh, and I'm going to put a 15-oh in between each sticking out 15-oh. On the back here. So I just went back. I went to silver just to show so you can see the difference. So just putting a 15-oh in between each 15-oh. And just do that all the way around on the back. And when you're done, don't sew anything in. Just leave that because we can use that to kind of pull the bezel in a little bit. So just get your 15-ohs on, come all the way around, and then meet me back here and we'll continue. Back for a second. So as I'm putting these 15-ohs on, you'll notice that it's going to want to kind of do that. Hold it down with your thumb, like that, and kind of press it into shape a little bit. So I'm going to help this along a little bit. So rather than letting it just go wonky like that, press it into sort of an oval shape, because that's sort of where we're going, even though we're putting an octagon stone in. So you're going to do that as you go around. Just make sure you're kind of pressing it and holding it and keeping it in shape. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, so this is how the back should look. I'm not pulling tight. I'm just pulling it and holding my thumb on it so it stays in shape. All right, turn her around to the front again. That's what that looks like. I'm going to pick up a 15-oh, a rondelle, and a 15-oh. We're exiting bead number 4 of this group of 7, just through bead number 4 of the next group of 7. Like that. See how that's going to pull in? Pick up a 15-oh, a rondelle, and a 15-oh. Exiting bead number 4 here. Just going to hop over to bead number 4 here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And giving it a little pull in because you want this to start to form a cup. 15-oh, rondelle, 15-oh. Exiting bead number 4 here, sew through bead number 4 in the next group of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, when I pull in, do you see how I'm getting a little cup now? All right, so do that all the way around and meet me at the end and we'll continue. Okay, so we have our last 15-oh, rondelle 15-oh to put on. So we're exiting right here. Now you want to just sew through bead number 4 of the next one, so it's where we're connected here. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That's what it looks like. Now before we put the stone in, I want you to reinforce everything we just put on. So you're going to sew through the next 15-oh rondelle, 15-oh, through that middle one, little 15-oh, and then the 15-oh rondelle, 15-oh, through the middle one, 15-0 rondelle, 15-0. So you're just going around everything here. And you don't have to pull this super tight yet. We're going to pull it tight once we get the stone in. So this is what it looks like. So you just do that all the way around and meet me at the end. Time to get the stone in. So I've kind of opened it up a little bit, and I'm going to pick up my stone and I'm going to put it in so that I have one of the rondelles like right down the middle, two on the sides. One is right from across from this one, and then two on the sides. Now you're going to move this around a little bit, so don't worry about it. So I'm just going to pull, and everything's going to move out of place, but don't worry about it. We'll get everything into place. So just kind of play with it until it looks nice and centered. Okay, and then you're going to reinforce all the way around. So here, I'll turn it this way. So again, I'm trying to center these two. These are the corners, and these are the other corners. All right, so just keep in mind as you reinforce it, you're going around again now. Hold the stone in. See, I'm holding it with my thumb as I pull, so the stone is not moving around a lot. And I'm just going around all the beads. Again, and you might have to do it one more time after this, or you might not. You'll just have to kind of play with it and see. All right, so this is what you're going to do. So reinforce all the way around, and it's starting to tighten up very nicely, and I notice it's starting to move a little, so I'm just going to play with it a little. And what you can do is, because you have the back thread still loose, you can tighten that back now like that. And that's going to tighten everything up. So if you feel like it's, it's starting to look good and you're still going around, you can actually sew that back thread in at any time. I kind of wait until the end so that I can play with it a little bit. But so you're just going to do that. So keep going around and going around, being very mindful that your beads are in the right place. Here, corners. If you have to move them, you'll just play with them a little bit until they're in the proper place, and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So we're going to put these corners on now. Now I've put 3 on, and I'll show you how to get them on. So if you notice, it's straightened out really quite a bit, and I just played with it a bit until all the beads looked pretty straight. And when you put these corners on, it really makes everything look beautiful. So I finished off my threads on the front and back, and then I added a thread through these back rondelles here. So I started, well, I didn't, let's say start here, come through this rondelle, the 11-ohs rondelle, until you come out of one of the corner rondelles. So you see I'm going to put 11-ohs here, and I put them in the other corners as well. So I'm going to pick up 3 11-ohs. I'm exiting this rondelle. I'm just going to sew through the next one. And I want to make sure that they form sort of a corner, just like that. See that? Cool, huh? And then all you're going to do is sew through. I turn it over to sew through because it's just easier. Sew through all these beads, like that. You might need your size 12 beading needle here until I get to the next corner. And then I'm going to put 3 11-ohs in that corner. And I'm going to do that all the way around until I have all my corners on. So just like that. And I think it came out really pretty. It's a little finicky bezel, but why not? It's it was fun, and it's good to kind of challenge yourself now and again, right? All right, so get that done, and then come back and we'll put on the bail. Now, if you have enough thread left over and you get up to here, because we're going to put the bail in between these 3 rondelles in the back here. If you have enough thread left over, let's say you have maybe 2 feet, you can put the bail right on, or you can add a thread and put the bail on. All right, so meet me back at the end and we'll continue. Okay, we're back, so let's put the bail on. So I want you to either add a thread, or if you're still using your thread, you can do that. We're going to work over these 3 beads here. So we're exiting the rondelle. I'm going to pick up 4 of my 11-ohs, and I'm just going to sew through. I'm exiting this one. I'm going to just sew through this one. So that's just putting 4 beads. right there. I'm going to turn it over, and I want to get back up to these beads here. So I'm just going to, I'm exiting the rondelle. I'm just going to sew through this little corner unit like this. Just want to move my thread so I get to this guy again. I'm going to sew through this one. Now it's going to be tough to get in there, so just maneuver your needle around a little bit. So right through this one. So that's just the 4 bead unit there. And then through the rondelle. So you've just turned your thread over. Now I'm just going to move my piece to the other side. Now I'm exiting where I want to be exiting. I'm exiting this rondelle right here. I'm just going to sew right up through the first 2 of my seed beads, like that. Now I'm in position to start putting some beads on. Okay, let's add some beads. So I'm just going to pick up 2 11-ohs. I'm just going to do a little herringbone here. I'm going to sew through the next bead. Place those on and make sure those go into a little herringbone shape. And then I'm just going to sew back up through this one on the other side, and then the one above it, like that. Of course, that will be much easier for you because you won't be trying to stay in frame. 2, go down, and up. These 2, so going down, up, going down 1, up 2. Now I'm going to add some beads on. Now you can either take your Charlottes, actually maybe we'll do the Charlottes. Oh, here. I'm going to pick up a Charlotte. No, I'm not. I'm going to pick up 2 11-ohs. I'm going to go down this one. And then before I go up, I'm going to pick up a Charlotte, or you can use your Delica, and then I'm going to go up 2. So I'm picking up the Charlotte and going up 2, like that. 2 11-ohs, down 1, picking up a Charlotte, up 2. Like that. Now the reason I left a little space here is because I want to see if we can get a little fire polish bead there, but we'll do that in a bit. So 2 11-ohs, down this one, Charlotte, or a Delica, and then up these 2. Got it. That's what you're going to do all the way around until you have a nice bail going. You know, so whatever size. We'll do the size to fit this chain. And I actually, the Charlotte looks nice. It kind of goes with the chain. All right, so just do, I'm going to say, let me see, I have another one that I did earlier. So let me do a little counting. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about 14, 13 or 14. And we'll start with that, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I have all my units on, and you just want to make sure, because we're going to fold it over like this to make the loop. You want to make sure that your clasp can get through, because you want to use this as a bracelet and a necklace, so you want to be able to get it off your chain, right? So if you're using the toggle, it's not a problem, because this will slide through very easily. All right, so I think I have about 14 units on here. Did I say 15? So before I attach it, I want to put a little bead here, and I want to sort of strengthen this a bit. So I'm exiting here. I'm going to sew down this whole side of beads here. And I'm not going to pull tight, because if I pull it, it's going to pull everything sideways, see? So I'm just going to hold it like this so it stays straight. So I'm just going to put it on my finger a little bit. Hold it with my thumb. And I'm just going to work my way down these beads. Not pulling tight. Just getting a little more thread in there. And maybe I'll come down to this one. I'm going to pick up that fire polish bead and then go back up the other side. Do the same beads on the other side. You don't have to put the fire polish bead there if you don't want to. I just thought it looked kind of cute sitting there. Back up. Through all the beads. Out the top. Come on, you. There we go. Like that. Not pulling super tight. And this is what we have. Just want to make sure that stays nice and straight. All right, so get that done and then come on back. Just straighten that out a little bit. There we go. Come back and we'll attach the back. Okay, we're almost there. So we have completed the bail. Now I'm going to turn it around and I'm just going to find some beads to attach it to on the back. So I'm going to attach this to these 3 beads right here. Let me pull in a little bit. Okay. I'm going to attach to these. So you see where this bead is right here. These 3 underneath it. So these 3 15-ohs right here. So I'm going to pick up an 11-oh. I'm going to sew through these 3. Like that. And I'm going to pick up another 11-oh. And I'm going to sew up through the beads on the other side. Straighten that out a little bit. So right through these. And I give it a pull. That attaches me on the back right there. I'm just going to move my thread through a couple more beads. Like that, just to tighten it down. So see when I do that, it tightens it down. I'm going to go straight across in between where the charlotte is to the corresponding bead on the other side, which is this 11-oh right here. So right through and down the other side, like that. I'm going to continue on down through all the beads I just put on, like that. Give it a pull, straighten it out. Go back through these 3, like that. Okay, and then you want to go back up and down a couple times till it's nice and secure, and we have our bail. And sometimes what I do, well, most of the time what I do when I'm done with the bail, because it always ends up looking flat and crooked, I stick a little pin in and make it round. Like that. So that way it's nice and round and it looks good. There we go. So our bezel is done. All right, so I hope you had fun with that. I know it was a little bit challenging, but what we're going to do now is we're going to make this chain so we can hang it from the chain, or we have a bracelet, or both. All right, see you in a few. Okay, let's start the 2-bead twisted herringbone. So thread your needle with, a good deal of thread, 3 or 4 feet, 5 feet if you can. You're going to have to add thread, so make it a comfortable length. So put on a stop bead, leave about a 10-inch tail. I put on and drop down to my stop bead 3 of my 11-oh delicas and 3 11-oh seed beads. I'm just going to sew up through the delicas, like that. That's what I have. I'm going to sew back down through the seed beads on this side. And then back up the delicas on this side, just to straighten everybody out and have them in place. That's what I have. Now I'm going to add beads. I'm going to pick up a delica and an 11-0. And I'm going to sew, I'm exiting here the delica. I'm going to sew down 1. So that's the 11-0. I'm starting my herringbone. I'm going to pick up a Charlotte and I'm going to sew up 3. So down 1, up, and I'll move my thumb in a second, 3. So I went down 1 on the seed bead. I picked up a Charlotte, going up 3. Those on. That Charlotte should just sit in between, like that. Pick up a delica and an 11-0. Sitting here, down 1, so down the 11-0. Picking up a Charlotte, up the 3 delicas. Get my needle in there. 1, 2, 3. Okay. It's just so hard to hold this little guy. Okay. Pull that over. Have my second Charlotte on, and I'm already twisting. So this is going to be a really fun twisty piece. Delica 11-0, down 1, so down the 11-0. Pick up Charlotte, up 3 on the other side, so up the 3 delicas. Make sure that Charlotte pulls into place. See how it's twisting already? Just going to keep doing that. Picking up a delica and an 11-0, down 1, which is down 1 seed bead, one of the 11-0s. Picking up a Charlotte, up 3 of the delicas on the other side. Making sure that Charlotte pops into place. So this is what it looks like. You see how already I'm curving? So you're going to just do this all the way down to the size of your necklace. Now my necklace, pull out, is 18 inches. And that 18 inches makes a great wrap bracelet for me, wrapping it around, and a great necklace length for me. But if you need a different length, either way, you can play with this a little bit. Just make sure that that it gives you a good wrap bracelet, you know, that it goes around your wrist and you can close it. Now you can always adjust the clasp a little bit to get a little more space or a little less space, or you can make the necklace slightly longer. But you know, just play with that. Put it around your neck, put it around your wrist until it's nice and comfortable. And I know you'll be able to get to do, you know, make both out of it. You'll just play with the length a little bit, or the clasp a little bit. All right, so get your whole length done, and then come back and I'll show you how to put the clasp on. Okay, so I have a little piece and I'm going to show you how to put the clasp on. So all I did was use that 1 teacup bead on each side as sort of a bead cap. And I think it worked out great. So very useful. So here I'm going to pick up, so I'm coming out of my delica here. I'm just going to pick up the teacup bead. I'm going to pick up 3 of my 11-0s and go through my clasp. So the hole right there. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up 3 more and go through, back through the teacup bead, like that. The hole on the original clasp was big enough for the 11-0s to fit through, but my other clasp, the ring is a little bit smaller. So here, that's all I have in there holding it on. Probably use even less beads than that if you want. And then you're just going to go straight down a few beads here. So you're going on the other side, so you were coming out of the delica. Now you're going to go up the seed beads. You know, go down the seed beads. See, that puts it on. You want to go directly across like that. Don't worry about that. The Charlotte there. Just go right directly across to the bead that's across from the one you're exiting. So that would be bead number 3. And go back up the delicas. Back up the teacup. You got it. You're going to go around all the beads now. So up the teacup, go down, go back through your herringbone a little bit and tie that off, and you have one part of your clasp on. You're going to do the exact same thing for the for the toggle bar end. You don't have to worry about anything. This is thin. It'll go right through the loop without a problem. So put this one on the same way you put that one on, with your little teacup bead, and then your 6 beads. Go around and sew it in, and you'll be done with your clasp ends. All right, so get that done and come on back and we'll finish up. Okay, we're back and we're done. So we've got this pretty pendant, the wrap bracelet, and a necklace. So that was so much fun. It's such a pretty color stone, isn't it? And next week I'll have a video up for the bracelet, and I'll have additional materials in the description box for the bracelet. All you have to do is go, click the down arrow, the show more, and all the information will be there. Now, Eureka Crystal Beads will be picking a winner. I don't know when they're going to notify who the winner is, but when they do, if I'm the winner, what I'll do is do a giveaway of the $25 gift certificate to Eureka Crystal Beads to one of you. So all you have to do for that, and I figured we just, start it now, just in case I win, just leave a comment below this video. Doesn't matter what the comment is. I'll use a random comment picker. It will just randomly pick one of the comments, and I will put the name of the person who wins on the screen on another video, just a very short video, and you will contact me at my business email, which I will list in the description box below the video. It's better than you leaving your email on YouTube. You don't want to leave your email in a YouTube comment. So you will contact me, and then I will give you all the information that I need so that Eureka Crystal Beads can contact you and give you your $25 gift certificate. So easy enough. So don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe as well. Be a subscriber. And, let's keep our fingers crossed. Maybe we'll win and you'll get a $25 gift certificate. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Join me on the next one for the bracelet. And take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.